everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Have you ever noticed how some Christians and some people, they just seem to radiate a love that's just almost magnetic, that just draws you to them, while others struggle to show just basic kindness? What if I told you the difference isn't really personality or circumstances, but really it's an understanding of a revolutionary truth about Christian love that most people end up missing? Stay with me because today we're diving deep into the transformative power of biblical love, and I promise you it's going to challenge everything you thought you knew about loving like Jesus. Whether you're feeling burned out from serving others or wondering if your love is making any difference at all, this episode is going to give you practical tools to revolutionize your relationships and impact your world. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk, where we journey together in faith. I'm your host, John Hiegel, and today we're unpacking what might be the most misunderstood command in Christianity: loving others like Jesus did. This episode is also inspired by my book, Don't Overthink It, where we explore how practical Christian love can revolutionize our world. And let me tell you, this isn't going to be your typical just be nice to everyone message. We're going to dig into the nitty gritty of what biblical love really is and really looks like and what it can look like in today's world. So let's start off with something Jesus said that completely flips our understanding of love. In John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35, he tells us, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another. By this all people will know that you are my disciples." Now pause for a moment and really let that sink in. Jesus didn't say people would know we're his followers by our church attendance, our Bible knowledge, how much we know, our political stance, our social media posts, how many followers we have, or even our good behavior. He said that they'd know by our love. But here's where it gets interesting. The kind of love that Jesus is talking about is radically different from what our culture calls love. To make this simple, let's break this down into 3 game-changing truths that will transform our view of Christian love. So first, let's just talk about the authentication of love. First, in John chapter 4, verses 20 through 21, it hits us with this reality check a little bit, where if everyone says, "I love God," and hates his brother, he is a liar. This isn't just about warm feelings. It's about authentic connection with God himself. So let's think about this. How can we claim to love an invisible God while struggling to love the visible people he's placed in our lives? Let me give you a real-world example. Imagine claiming to love coffee while hating every cup that you've ever tasted. It doesn't add up, right? The same principle applies to our relationship with God and others. So the second truth is the action of love. In James chapter 2, verses 14 through 17 says, "What good is it if someone claims to have faith but has no deeds?" This is where the rubber meets the road. Love isn't just a feeling, it's an action. It's feeding the hungry when you're tired yourself, clothing the naked when it costs you something, meeting real needs with real solutions even when it's inconvenient, showing up when everyone else has already left. These are things that showcase love. The third truth is the attitude of love. In Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4, it gives us the blueprint of what this means. "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vanity. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves." This is perhaps the most challenging aspect because it deals with our heart's motivation. It deals with our everyday motivation. Now, just like every episode, we get practical. So let's get practical. Here are 7 powerful ways to show revolutionary love this week. These are things that you can do this week. Practice hospitality. In Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2, it reminds us that some have entertained angels without knowing it. This isn't just about hosting dinner parties. It's about opening your home to someone who needs community. Maybe it's somebody that you know or even don't know, and they're just looking for some friendship. They're just looking for just somebody to be nice to them. Making space in your busy schedule for meaningful conversations. Creating environments where people feel safe and valued. Another thing is to choose deliberate forgiveness. In Colossians chapter 3 verse 13 tells us to forgive as the Lord forgave you. This means to forgive before the other person asks for forgiveness. Releasing grudges that feel justified. Extending grace when it seems impossible. Serve with a purpose. This is the third thing. Galatians chapter 5 verse 13 calls us to serve one another humbly in love. This can look like finding practical ways to meet others' needs, serving without expecting some kind of recognition. Fourth thing you can do is listen with intent. James chapter 1 verse 19 says, "Be quick to listen and slow to speak." This involves, this is going to touch some people, I think, putting away your phone during conversations. I'm weak on this. I try so hard. It's so hard in today's world that's so technology based and so everything's on our phones. And so this can be difficult, but this is a big thing. Putting away your phone during conversations. Asking thoughtful follow-up questions. Let the other person know that, hey, I'm listening to you. I'm taking the time to listen to what you're saying, and I'm engaging with what you're saying. Resisting the urge to offer immediate solutions. Just because someone's coming to you and needing to vent or do whatever they need to do to let off the steam that's needed, doesn't mean during that moment you need to provide some kind of, hey, this is what you need to do different. You're wrong in this. This is what needs to be different. The next thing you can do is give generously. Proverbs chapter 11 verses 25 promises a generous person will prosper. So consider giving your time when you're busy, sharing resources when it stretches you, offering encouragement when you're tired. Another thing is pray powerfully. James 5 verse 16 reminds us that prayer is powerful and effective. So, make it practical. Create a prayer journal for others' needs. Not just focusing on yours, but like what is something that other people need. And so when you go to pray, and I know somebody personally that does this. They literally will write down when either if people ask them to pray for them about a certain thing, or if they just see it, they'll write it down and they have a list. And then every morning they pray and they go over that list. And then even though you say you're going to pray for somebody and you do, have a follow-up prayer request. Is there anything else? I've prayed for you, and is there anything else that I could do? Another thing is speak truth in love. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 15 challenges us to speak truth in love. This means being honest without being harsh. You can say what you need to say in a soft, not so angry voice. I'll be honest, this is hard. This is another thing that's hard for me and that I struggle with. The older I get, the more I resonate more with the disciple Peter. Well, probably more Simon before he came Peter, because there's things that just, I don't know, they frustrate me. I mean, let's be real, they frustrate me, and so it's hard for me to, even though I'm coming from a place of love, it can come off as anger or a hurtful tone, and that's not helpful. So try being honest without being harsh. Offer correction with compassion. Try speaking life-giving words consistently. So guys, here's the truth that ties everything that we've talked about together. Christian love isn't about being nice. It's about being transformed. When we truly love others as Christ loved us, it changes not just them, but us. It's a complete renovation of how we see and interact with the world. So this week, I want you to take on what I call the Love Revolution Challenge. Choose one person who's difficult to love. Choose one person in your life. Everybody has that one person. Okay? Everybody has that one person. Heck, you may have a list of people that you're just like, they make it very, very hard for me to love them. But If it's one person or multiple people, it doesn't matter. Choose those people to love this week. Select one practical way to show them love from this list that we have talked about today. Commit to doing it consistently for 7 days. Do it every day this week. Even if you're not literally talking to them, think about them. Pray for them. Journal about how it affects both them and you by doing this. And then I ask you to share your experience with someone else to multiply the impact that I promise you will have this week. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this powerful thought. Love isn't just something we feel. It's something we do. It's a choice. It's not just an emotion. It's a revolution. And it starts with us, right here, right now. Remember, every great movement in history started with individual choices. Your decision to love like Jesus today could be the start for transformation in someone's life tomorrow. If you want to dive deeper into this topic and discover more practical ways to love like Jesus, check out my book, Don't Overthink It, on Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description below. I've dedicated an entire chapter to breaking down these principles and providing even more practical applications. And until next Wednesday, remember, love isn't just what we say, it's what we do. And when we do love like Jesus, we change the world one person at a time. Have a good week, everybody, and God bless.